Hey, good afternoon. Michael Wynn, Chief Digital Officer of Digital Ops, a division of RB Oppenheim Associates. Today, guys, we are going to talk about why aren't people buying? I run into different businesses that buy and sell services and or products, and they talk to me about different times of the year when people do not buy, and that there are these seasonal trends where their goods or services just take a dip, and that's true. But then I think about when those difficult times come. I remember, I spent a little over a decade in the automotive industry, both on the service side and the sales side. And I remember February is a brutal month in the automobile industry. It's a short month. People are recovering from paying bills from Christmas. They're putting their taxes together, so it's a real challenge. But man, on the flip side, March rolls around, boom, we're back on track. But I think a lot of times, I came across this article last week on Smashing Magazine, and I found it absolutely intriguing, and it was sort of the inspiration of what I wanted to talk about today, which is what's wrong with logical-based marketing and messaging, right? So, I mean, we would think that most of our decisions are made through logic, right? Um, as Spock would say, that's not logical. Um, but I think there's been a lot of research done, and the author of the article that I came across was presented by a woman with her PhD for over 30 years. Incredible insight and data behind this article, and man, I found it riveting when you take a deep dive, because if the article presents the idea that no, not all decisions are made logically. In fact, many of the big and small decisions that we make are actually made unconsciously, as well as simply based on emotions. And I thought about that, and I thought, that's interesting. And so then I started to think about, well, how would this sort of pivot from that logical, persuasive argument towards trying to prompt action in marketing and messaging? What would that look like? And I think at the end of the day, what we're seeing more and more and more, and this article seems to back it up, is that emotion trumps logic like 9 times out of 10, right? I mean, we already know, we've talked about this before on the podcast and on these videos, and is that on the web today, in social, just across all platforms, the three big emotions that prompt us to take action, to do something, really center around the big three. And that's all anger and anxiety. Those three things, when we're in awe of something, we're and that means, you're surprised, or you're inspired, or like, oh my gosh, like you're really in awe. Or angry, pretty self-explanatory, you're pissed, you're just, absolutely livid, or filled with anxiety and stress. I mean, those things cause us to do things, cause us to make comments, cause us to share articles, cause us to fly off the handle, or, check out, or, withdraw. I mean, they're really strong drivers. And so, when I think about that, and we put that in the context of messaging, and, so here, this is sort of the example in the article, and I really liked it. So the person was trying to think about, they were going to try to buy a specific service, an online service, and they had a choice between, the free version or the pro version. And so, the logical, messaging and marketing would be, to cover make sure you cover all the things that it covers. So it covers X, Y, Z, and of course it covers A through W. That would be the very logical sort of check the box type of thing. But the emotional sort of argument or presentation of that material would be thinking about that end user, and that thinking, wow, okay, they're afraid that if they don't pay money and they go with the free one, then something is likely to go wrong. The fact that they pay for the pro version makes them feel like that things are less likely to go wrong. And what emotion does that feed into? It feeds into anxiety, right? And so again, understanding what these sort of emotional prompts are that are part of the decision-making process as marketers. We need to understand those motivations. I think we need to be self-aware ourselves, because we may represent part of the target audience that our products or services reach. And the feeling part, I think that was another thing. There were two other points in the article that I found, again, just super intriguing. And I'm going to put the link in our blog to this article so that you guys can read it too and get some of the deeper research behind it, because I can't cover it all in like 9 minutes. So, the need to feel something in order to decide, that seems to be, something very significant. And so again, if we're trying to shift away from or pivot away from this logical based, persuasive argument messaging to, we might write something in this particular, instance, making that user feel safe and secure, then rather than focus on all the different, product features or all those different, what the service includes, right? Just the nuts and bolts. So I thought that was interesting. And I think then the second part that kind of is on the flip side is, when we buy something, we want to feel confident. We want to feel confident that we're making the right decision. And you've probably seen this before where, you see a product or a service where it says, 79% say that, they would buy it again, or 92% say that they would recommend it to others. That's the kind of marketing messaging that instills in sort of is in line with the idea of having confidence when you make that purchase. So, if you're in a business where you have a renewal process, you want to give them, information or data that says you use this product so many times, and, showing that how much the usage they used just kind of reflects back to them the confidence that they have in the product. So I think that's really genius. I really think if we're to, sort of think about 2019, if your business was flat in 2018 or things were in a declining, sort of trajectory, I think, and you want to make a change, take a deeper dive into your messaging, and is the context of that messaging logic based, or is it based on something different and more emotional? And how do you connect your products and services with the benefits or how it applies to being in awe, being angered about, or having anxiety around the thing that your products or service can prevent you from getting stressed out, or can help you not get angry, or can inspire you to be your better self. And then lastly, the one thing that I came across, there's the quote that 7 is the magic number, and I think the author made a great point when she said that really that data is wrong. It's really a myth. The true number is it's really make your decision 1, 2, or 3, and maybe 4, but that's absolutely the max. So, I think that's something that we need to think of as businesses, is really try to regroup our service offerings into a more concise bucket group of 3 to 4, because when presented with too many options to choose, many times we'll just choose not to make a choice. And that's bad, because they're going to move on to the next person. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Michael Wynn. I'm the Chief Digital Officer at Digital Ops. Have a great day.